Welcome back, I'm Kenny, and today we're going to be talking about some D&D stuff. So, I am fairly new to D&D. I've only been playing since late September of 2019, so I only have a couple months under my belt, but I love everything D&D. I watch YouTube videos, I follow channels, I read the books. I love D&D. So, I even make random characters sometimes to test out combinations because I enjoy D&D so much. But today, we're going to talk about my first D&D character. One that I only played it for about 3 months before I became the DM of the campaign and then turned my character into an NPC that shows up occasionally in the story. It gave me a way to have fun in the campaign. But yeah, but for those 3 months, we'll talk about my first D&D character. So we'll start with. So I use D&D Beyond for my DMing and for my other campaigns I play in. So let's go to my original one. You'll see there's two of them because as soon as I became the DM for that campaign, I adjusted the stats and things on this one to make it better for the campaign. But here, we're gonna look at my first D&D character. So there's two things you'll know. I love rogues and I love elves. I will default pick an elf and I will default pick a rogue because I just like those so much. I like the sneaky and I just like elves. I think they're just so cool. So, but rogues are pretty good. Sneak attack? Oh god, I love sneak attack. It's great when you're able to do sneak attack damage. It's a blessing. It's like the best day. It's like the best day ever. Like combat, it's like okay. And then because I took the assassin, I think it was where is it at? Not sneak attack. Assassinate. Where is it at? No, never mind. I don't have it on this one. Or do I? I thought okay, maybe I don't. Maybe I didn't pick it for this original one. But so I'm gonna say something for my other campaign where I'm an elf rogue. But so this is my first D&D character. I picked the variant elf because I thought it looked cooler from the picture. And so we started the campaign at level 4 and never leveled up. The DM kind of flaked a lot and couldn't DM very often. So we really only maybe played for a month and a half with a lot of gaps in between before I finally went, okay, enough's enough. I'll take over the DMing and then you do whatever you want to do. If you want to join, go ahead. But so we were level 4, never leveled. Or wait, did we start at level? We might have started at level 3 for some reason, but I think we stayed at level 4 and just never leveled up because just didn't have the time to. So we rolled for stats. I forget how we rolled for them. I think we just rolled d6s and took those results. So these are my stats. I didn't care about strength because I was all about sneaky, and I didn't really care about could I do a strength thingy or could I do a whatever, an athletics check. Nah, I didn't care about that. So I put my lowest one to strength. That was the first thing I put low. This is when I was still fairly new to D&D, so I was following what D&D Beyond said, so I put one into Dex, and then I was like, I want him to be smart. So I was like, yeah, let's do intelligence. I probably should have put my other one into charisma for deception and persuasion, not deception, yeah, but for persuasion and whatnot. Yeah, for deception. So that's what I should have done. But I was like, I want him to be smart. So I made him smart. Yeah. that really didn't come up much. At least not in that short brief time. The times when I could have been deceptive or charismatic or like do something, like a distraction, would have came up a lot more frequently than I thought it would. So I feel like I should have done the charisma, and that's kind of how I portray the NPC version of this character. I boosted up his charisma. He's just like this loud, boisterous person, and then loves that. But no, my elf was, yeah, I was still fairly new, and I was just like, well, they said do dexterity, so I did dexterity, and I was like, but I want to be smart, and then after that, I just kind of just started putting numbers in other spots, and I was like, for the lowest one for sure is gonna be strength, because I didn't care about that, and the rest of them I just kind of went, you get that, you get that, you get that, and then went with it. So yeah, I still only have the base equipment. Didn't get. Oh no, I got a longbow from a fight. We fought living trees that attacked us, and we used our oil to burn them alive. The DM was very upset about that. He didn't like that very much. That was the first time we burned one of his encounters. The second time he had a church encounter full of like the living dead, and before we walked in, I was like, I want to burn the church down, and he just goes, what? Can you repeat that? I'm like, I want to burn the church down. He was very hesitant on letting me burn that church down. Very hesitant on burning it down. So eventually he let me do it, and then he was very upset. After the session, he's like, you guys ruined my encounter. He had this whole encounter planned out, and I burned it to the ground. Yeah. It was fun, though. Really good fun. So, he still has his basic stuff. I think the only upgrade he got was a longbow that we got from the tree encounter. And does everything else. So he still has his measly 13 armor class and just everything else. We didn't, at the time, we were all, most of us are still fairly new, so we didn't, like, take any feats. Well, we couldn't have. Oh, we could have, maybe. I don't remember. So we stuck very basic stuff. Because this was my DM's first, like, because he played before, like for a year or so, but this is his first time DMing, like actually being the DM. So, and then one other player was in that campaign with him before, and the other one had been playing D&D for a while, and then there was my friend Maddie and I, who were both just brand new to D&D, because I wanted to play D&D for years, but just never had a group to play with, and for some reason I never heard of Adventure League. So like I just could have gone to my local game store and played D&D, but never heard of that. Just never, and it makes me very upset. I could have been playing D&D for a very long time, but I didn't get to play it until now. And that makes me very, very upset. But okay, aside from that, so he's very basic. He's just a rogue and an elf named Francis. The name comes from a joke from work. I work at a movie theater, and that's a work joke from my boss. So I decided my first D&D character is going to be that, because the name at work is, I was up to no good doing something, and my boss didn't know my middle name, and blurted that out. So she said my full name and then blurted that in the middle, and it's been the running joke ever since. So I decided my roguish, evilish character is gonna be Francis, because he's up to no good. But we know about his description. Did I put his? I did not. So I didn't put his backstory onto D&D Beyond, but basically his backstory is he is about, I think I had it for this version, he was 120 years old. He didn't know his family, and so he's kind of like an orphan, and he was like scooped up by another like a very much older elf who happened to be the leader of an assassin guild. So that elf, so my character referred to him as the Master. Always that's how you refer to him. And the Master trained Francis, all that taught him everything he could from a very young age. So I didn't dive into details like how long he was in this assassin guild, but for most of his life, he was in this assassin's guild. So he outlived members, and he was the Master's favorite, and they went off on missions with the Master and did things with the Master and everything like that. What happened was Francis decided he didn't want to be in this guild and killing people and doing all this stuff anymore. So he snuck away in the middle of the night and left. And now he's on the run. He's terrified that the Master and then the guild's going to find him. And so his goal is to find friendship, find a group of friends that care for him, and so a place he can call home. And yes, he lives in fear that the Master and the guild is going to find him. And I thought that was a pretty interesting backstory for him. So he's constantly on the run, like terrified to stay in one place too long. So that is Francis, my first D&D character that I turned into an NPC for the campaign I DM. He's much more different. I buffed him up. I gave him more abilities. He's a much different character. Like the only thing that they share in common are the name, the elf, and the rogue type. That's it. So, but I love him dearly. I will probably write him out on a character sheet and like hang him on a wall. His goals and frame it as my first D&D character, because I was so happy when I was able to play D&D with my friends. Because yeah, we started playing in September of 2019. Played for a few months. I think it was like January or February is when I started DMing for the group. And then so I kind of dropped this character off and started a new campaign, and then brought the character back as an NPC, and it was like, hey, you guys remember me, guys? Because my new group kept the original characters from this campaign. Because I was like, you guys already built your characters, you guys like your characters, I'll just make a new campaign with your characters in it. So I brought him back with slightly modified. I was like, hey guys, remember me? Like we had our adventure like a few months ago. I'm back. And then he was the way he was the introduction that I brought 3 more characters into the campaign. So I used him as like, hey, I did this, remember me? And then he was very boisterous and whatnot. This one was he's more reserved, more like lone wolfy, but he was trying to find friends. So it was interesting. Since then, I've learned so much more about D&D. I love D&D so much. I watch so many videos. I read so many books. I will research things, and I love it so much. So Francis was my doorway into this amazing world, and I will always remember that this was my first experience with D&D. So this was my first D&D character, and I'll catch you guys next time. Go ahead and like and subscribe, and see ya.